And your mic is on.
Great. Thank you, Logan. I'm calling the meeting of the Infrastructure Committee of Hudson, New York, order on May 11th at 5:30 PM. In attendance is Henry and Dawn, Jason Foster, and online is Roni. I think that's everybody, so all here. And we're going to just jump right into the superintendent of DPW's report.
Thank you. You have this right, Logan?
Yeah.
All right, so, acceptance for February was 43,000. That's about our monthly, mark that we want to have. Actually, that's supposed to read March, not February. That's where we usually are, average per month, absent the winter months. So the chains and flights, that's a typo there. Last year, or last month, I showed you how they had broken and twisted them around on themselves. So this is they were all removed. You can see in picture one that that black stuff was the kind of sludge that skim coated it. That was all cleaned out. The new flights were installed and everything is back in proper working order. The next couple of items are about the massive, stormwater project that'll start, within this year sometime. Part of it is there are segments of the mains that need to be replaced that go under buildings. And we're having difficulty locating where and how they connect. So we've done dye tests, but the dye test is you put dye in the toilet, you flush it, and you go open a couple manholes and you hope to see green. And if you see green, then you're like, oh, this is where it comes. And if you don't, then you're like, well, where did it go? So there will be some smoke testing conducted. Now, it's called smoke testing. It's not, it's like a white fog. It's non-toxic, non-staining, non-hazardous, odorless. It's what they do. What they do is they pressurize the manhole, force this gas down into it. It shouldn't come into a house. If it comes into your house, then that means that you may have an internal plumbing issue, because that means a sewer gas could be coming into your house. You don't want any gas. If you have a trap that's working in your house, that shouldn't come into it.
Okay.
So if you've got open floor drains that don't have a trap or aren't connected to one,
Yeah.
and you're getting this fog in your house, you may want to think about doing something to your plumbing, because that's a potential risk, and you don't want sewer gas coming in your house. But anyway, so it shouldn't come to anybody's house. There will be actually door hangers that will be placed on in advance of where the testing will happen. So this is the public notice that'll go out on the city's website when we actually have dates in place. This is kind of just everybody's heads up about it. The next picture on 4, this just gives you the idea of where it won't take place in all of these areas, but certain spots within that area. Like I said, you'll receive a door hanger if it's gonna be in and around you. But you're basically going from the whole scope of this project, from Second all the way up to Park, and in the alleys, even part of Warren Street, even as far as Union. Because like I said, there are mains that come from Union. We know that in the 400 block, because we had to put a whole new sewer main in, because it was going under somebody's basement, and during heavy storm was perking up. So, this is just kind of like just a basic introduction to let you guys know, and the community know that this will take place, with more information and more specifics to follow.
When last time we had a smoke test?
I don't believe, I've never done it when I've been
Is
here.
the first time?
Yeah, usually dye test is good enough, but. So, one of the other things we have is, just to kind of give you an idea of the scope of this first phase of this project. I've talked about it goes from Second Street up to 7th Street and Park Place. But there will be some minor work that'll take place in the alleys that actually go down to Front Street. So, there's a 12-inch and 15-inch, some are existing, some is work that we've already done before. But once you get to Second Street, you can see how thicker the red line gets. That's a 42 to 48-inch sewer pipe. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that is because early in design, we were hopeful that we could kick this thing over to the side and move traffic around it. 4-foot diameter pipe is gonna have an 8-foot wide hole. The pipe is, the sewer, new sewer is actually gonna go in the place of the existing sewer. We will be demolishing the existing sewer, putting this one in place, and it will go in live. So as they move up the street, all laterals will come out of the old stone sewer, will be tied into this new sewer. At the end of every night, they're gonna have to build a sluiceway that allows for the flows to go from the existing stone to the new sewer. The roads, will be open at night, but not during the day. So, there will be, detours going on all day long for at least the 2, 3, and 400 block. I'm gonna guess probably the 500 block. It's only 12-inch by the time it gets up there. But, the road narrows at Fifth Street. I mean, most people don't realize it. If you come up Columbia and if you're at the red light, the curb is actually over like 2 or 3 feet further. So the road does narrow. You can see all the marks from the plows that hit it, and tires. So, the red one is for the sewer. The blue one is the storm line. These are both going in the same street. And like I said, when you're down in the lower blocks, that's a 3-foot diameter pipe that's gonna be going in from Second Street up. Each of these pipes is gonna have new laterals that go all the way to the house. So they'll be connected and plumbed into the house for the new storm, or for the sanitary. And that will be live. For the new storms, they will be all the way up to the foundation of the house. And there'll be a stub piece there with a clean out. And at some point in the future, the homeowner will be expected to separate whatever, if they have roof drains or whatever, footing drains, and tie those into the storm.
So you're going from the pipe to
The foundation of the house. No, we're,
Beyond the shut off.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
we're going all the way to,
On the property.
and for sanitary in the house.
You're going into the basement?
Yes,
Okay.
all new.
And the water? Or to the shut off, like the curb shut off for the water?
We're not touching water.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just a drain.
Okay.
I'm not saying that we're not. What will happen is if we come across a lead lateral service
Oh,
during construction, the EPA basically says you should replace at that time. The EFC funds, not necessarily there for lead water service. This is a stormwater project. But the water department will run a shadow team behind, so that way if a lead service does come up and the road's already gonna be closed. It's already gonna be an open construction site. They do this all the time. They'll end up doing a tap and running a new copper service over to the house at the same time that, the contractor's doing their work. So, yeah, whatever we come across, but you're talking new and new. And, with a new service, sanitary going to each house and a new, storm going to each house, and the size of these excavations, there's gonna be a couple of these blocks, and I think Tiffany mentioned it before, a lot of these blocks are gonna have total sidewalk replacement as well. Cause there won't be any sidewalk left. By the time you replace 2, 3 panels,
Yeah.
building, it's just gonna be, rather than matching existing, it'll actually be less expensive to just form it, pour it, and do it wholesale. So the good news is for the people of the 200 block of Columbia, they may be getting brand new sidewalks.
What
The
happened?
300 block probably.
New roads and sidewalks, right?
Huh?
New roads also, right?
Oh, the road will be brand, everything's gonna be brand new. There won't be any road left.
It
Uh,
has to go new.
it's gonna look like a bomb went off for a year and a half,
Temporarily.
for a year.
This is a, this is.
This is a 2-year project. This whole thing,
Yeah, right.
this whole thing, obviously, they won't wait to do final restoration down here until we go all the way up. Once you're out and all the work is done for a whole block or 2 blocks, then they'll probably, they may come in and do the final road rebuilding and do the final road restoration and just move on sidewalks and move on.
Are you still planning to go block at a time or trying to tackle the whole scope at once? Cause they're.
Well, that's what I just said. I think that, you know, there'll be a point when there is here's the thing, you know, we want to encourage we want to, there's a certain amount of flexibility we like to have the contractor have, because the more flexibility, the more competitive the price comes in. Every restriction that we add
Mhm.
adds dollars. But, you know, to that said, is it reasonable to expect that once they're totally out of a block that's 1,500 feet long, that they could do final restoration and move on? I think that's probably reasonable. So, you know, that's something that we may put in as a condition, just because, and they may want it, because once they do final restoration,
Right.
they're out of it. As long as it's, you know, backfill, they own it, they've got to babysit it. And so, and they, probably once they get done with the block, they're gonna want to get it all buttoned up and move on.
Do you have any, there aren't too many properties, but a few on Columbia do have small yards where maybe 15 feet or so with a little green area. And are you anticipating any excess, I don't know, cost on maybe plantings or unforeseen tearing up someone's front yard?
Well,
100 block of Columbia, there are a lot of, all those are set back probably 20 feet.
yeah, I mean, you know, we'll probably stay well within the footprint of where the building is. I don't imagine doing it. Maybe if somebody's lateral comes out of the side of the house, then yeah, the contractor's gonna have to do restoration, you know, to match that, but it's very rare that the lateral comes out of the side of the house. It's usually either the front or the back.
Well, yeah.
Are they able to do any of this underground, or do they have to dig it up?
Well, I think by the time they gets, cause they've gotta, you know, the sewer itself is gonna be so deep,
Yeah.
it's probably just easier for them to just excavate, you know, they're gonna, you know, they'll probably have a smaller, you know, they probably won't be doing these laterals with a, you know, with a 30-ton machine.
Of course.
You know, they're just gonna bring something in with a 1-foot bucket or something like that, because your laterals are usually 4 or 6 inches. They do match existing, so, if someone has a 6-inch lateral coming out of their house, it'll be a 6-inch connection to the new main.
Brand new.
This is gonna
I have a
have the
question.
truck traffic.
Yeah,
Why?
What is this projected to start? Probably already said that, right?
well, like I said, there's still, originally we planned on having this thing out the bid now.
Mhm.
But there's still so many unknowns that we're working through. It probably looks like it'll be an August to September letting.
Of this year.
Of this year, my guess is we do contract awards this fall, but we really won't expect somebody to start work in December to do what? Because we're gonna have all these terms and conditions for winter.
Mhm.
Because when they, you know, it's winter time and they're backfilling, they're gonna have to, you know, it's not gonna be stone, they're gonna have to put some cold patch, they're gonna have to do a lot more. And that will happen in a year or two, because they will be going through the winter. But, you know, I don't expect really,
They obviously won't be able to-
I imagine they'll spend the winter just doing submittals. You've got 100 structures,
Mhm.
Easily.
you know.
So Rob, I have a question, like, why we're not doing from Second Street to down? I mean, any reason?
We already did it.
That's the thing, we did it, but we don't go through the property for connection that time, I believe.
Whatever's there is, that was a previous project. Urban, part of it was done in urban renewal, so whatever they did, but those are all new buildings too. You know, you've got Skylar Court, you've got the low rise, you've got, Providence Hall. And then you've got the houses,
Yeah.
those are all post-urban renewal, so,
Okay.
I mean, everything should be, you know, pretty modern there.
That house.
But yeah, we're not, you know, well, this is from front to first and first to second,
Yeah.
you know, where that's already, we did that
we did
in
that.
2016 or so, 18.
The big five and everything.
Correct. So, and they've done that. Snap test, sanitary maps, the street sweeper, you know, that went down a couple of weeks ago. You look at picture 7, you can see the actual, fan impeller for the sweeper, installed, and the mechanic's left hand is what was left of the previous one. I don't know what the sweeper sucked up, but something got in there and it literally obliterated all the fans. Which sweeper doesn't work without creating a vacuum, and you're not gonna create a vacuum without having a fan. So, they did put it back together. Picture 8 shows them assembling it, using the loader to put it in place, and so it should be, out tomorrow. So, fun and excitement for everybody. The, water department, we did our actual, the Churchtown pipe cleaning. So just a short of it, the picture 9 is the Clobber pit. You can see the poly plate floating, so we pressurize it using the water from the tank, finished water tank, and we send it to the pit. And then when it gets there, it floats, pops up. We let it run for about half an hour or so, then we close some valves, let it drain down. Send it from the other direction, from Churchtown. 10 just gives you an idea. And you can see what water came out of the main in picture 9, and you can see what water is coming out of the main in picture 10. Obviously, there's a big difference between what was cleaned before, the, what else? And just, kind of a side note, we have, some ongoing PLC issues. PLC is basically the computers that operate the water plant. It seems that when we have a power loss and we switch to generator, there's this wonkiness happens with some of the controls. And, so it's just gonna be part of a larger solution to try to figure out what's going on in the programming somewhere. Harry Howard, so, it was closed around St. Patrick's Day because the road was falling away. Don't know if the picture 11, that just shows the sub base brought up just below the catch basin. Picture 12 is they went and milled the rest of the road, so that way, after they did the sub base and everything was even, then there would be all one new top coat, to make it seamless. And, on the left-hand side of picture 12, you see that was an excavation for a sewer repair. So we loaded that up with material before the top coat was put on. 14 shows the drains coming out the side. So if there should be an instance where we have water going into this area again, it's gonna come out of these drains. We'll be able to, during this daylight, we'll be able to observe it and realize that we've got some kind of a drainage problem upstream. 13 just shows the milling again. 15, this is, the top coat on the southbound lane we sold a wing gutter. That's just to keep the water running along the side, and basically it's a makeshift curb. And it runs into the basin, so we get the water away. We don't want any water going over top of the stones to wash anything out. 16 just shows the top coat on the left side, which is the southbound lane. Tack coat going on the northbound lane, that's the patch for where we did the sewer, and the new asphalt went over top of it. 17 is after the road was reconstructed. We had, our guys, that's a temporary stripe, the county brings their contractor in over the summer. They'll put an actual, regulation 2-liner in there. But, this is the guy we use for, doing parking spaces. It's not really designed for this application, but we did need a center line. That's on, and afterwards, topsoil along the side of the guardrail, again, to protect, runoff from washing out the side and potentially undermining the side of the road and the repair. 19, on top of that, went seed and grass. And then, 20 just shows, we took all the barricades and snow fence from the, northbound lane that was there to keep people on the sidewalk and out of the zone. We moved it across the street to protect the, grass, so that way the grass can grow, you get nice and firm. And, obviously, the sidewalk is there because there's a perfectly good sidewalk on the other side of the street for, everybody to use at their pleasure. All right, so that's the Harry Howard. I did get the, invoice for that, so didn't include it here, but it's, 140,000 was the contractor. We have another 5,000 for guardrails installation. We have topsoil and materials that our guys bought. So, you figure you're just over north of 150. We'll be paying that out of the CHIPS account and submitting it to DOT for reimbursement.
That doesn't sound like all of CHIPS.
All of CHIPS?
Yeah, you had said earlier that we may not have,
Yeah, we usually get like 250 a year.
you would bank that for next year or?
But yeah, we will, because we do CHIPS, projects on the alternate year, on the odd year. Just because there's so much work for us to do, it's,
Yeah.
all the infrastructure buildup we have to do. This is just, seasonal work. This is, by the firehouse parking lot, after the winter, you get some rutzer over there, just doing some maintenance, put some fabric. That, and picture 21 shows the fabric. We did a similar project, a year or two ago. And then lo and behold, some of the fabric was cut. And, so when the rains came, the repairs that we had done were washed away.
Like someone sliced the.
Yeah, so as long as there's not a nitwit who goes over there and intentionally destroys,
Do you know who it was?
yeah, we all know who it was.
Who was it?
Come on.
Was it Silly Boy? Really?
Staging,
It was, what did you call him?
Bubble Boy.
Oh, no, it couldn't have. Really? You cut it?
who knows?
Wow. That's-
It was some clown, so pick a clown. All right, so anyway, 'tis the season for painting and striping.
Rob,
Yeah.
brought up the parking lot at the fire station.
Yeah.
Sorted with, I think it was an issue with getting Pocketbook Factory up and going in that parking lot. Are you all set with it?
Yeah, we've
W?
already met with them, but if we're gonna have that discussion, let's have the grown-up professional discussion. When the resolution was adopted in December of last year, the very last page of the resolution says, not for construction purposes. Right? They had agreed upon a certain number of spaces, but the actual layout was never there.
Gotcha.
So when they presented their draft layout, that was the concern of the fire department. That was the concern of the DPW because they were taking on the frontage. There was no access for us to do our snow dump and there was no access around. All they did is formulate, which they always needed to do, was the actual footprint. And so the footprint has just changed instead of going from wide and up front to slender, narrow and deeper. And, and all that landscaping, that was just like, the engineer just put that in as pretty stuff, but
Right.
they don't need that, nobody's requiring it, just put parking spaces, that's all anybody wants is parking spaces. So that's what they are doing right now, they are putting together some actual design and they're going before the planning board, to show that design.
Orientation of the spaces.
Right, the actual for construction
Gotcha.
documents that, for their review and approval.
And DPW left along the right.
Yeah, we walked it out and based on, what he did, we're okay with it. It gives us the access we need. The fire department has signed off on it. So,
We're not a drawing originally, it was just written up.
well, it was a drawing, but the way the engineer did it is they put everything up in
Right
the
up
front.
and everything, yeah.
And it just took off all the usable space.
Yeah,
And so all we did is just say, look, we want it this way.
Yeah.
And it also, it gave them like exclusive right to the entire parcel, and now we're saying you're only getting part
we're
of
getting
it.
this section.
You're only getting the parking lot as the parcel. The rest of it is still city property to be used for.
Which is the right decision.
Right.
And they're leasing it,
And at least, yeah. So it's fine. It was just,
just making sure everything.
it was just one of these things that just kind of, slid through and but it's all been buttoned up, and like I said, it's before the planning board now, so. But once they do their stuff, it's not,
And they're allowed to park there, right?
yeah, they can park there now, nobody cares. And then I think you were on the email, they're gonna put taking that fencing down, they're gonna put some temporary fence up.
Yeah, they're getting their.
They're supposed to put some signage up, whatever, but that's not DPW, that's
Yeah.
them and whomever else. So,
That's all, just
Yeah, it's in there.
You don't meet with the council anymore.
I don't know. This is my meeting with the council. Once a month, whether I need it or not, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, so, yeah, so the curb painting is underway. And, last year, we were the destroyers of beauty, all things beautiful with the curb cut permit. And this year, it's surprising, we've had more than a few elected officials ask us for painting in certain areas, so.
Well, back-
Apparently, yeah, we're the belle of the wall now. Now, paint is good.
They do such a good job painting.
Well, hey,
They want it everywhere.
what do you want? Yellow, it's the new green. So, that's that, rugs, it's curb painting. Oh, the other seasonal painting, of course, is our, gotta do the carrots. Waterfront stage, some of the boards were, starting to wear through, so they replaced those. Maintenance for the season. Hometown Heroes are going up on the new streetlights, Front Street. So, obviously the CSC reported about the vandalism of the little baby tree there up on the Promenade Hill. It's not the only vandalism. Someone also busted one of the windows at the bathroom at the Waterfront Park. And someone also broke into the Dunn warehouse and smashed up parts of the Henry Hudson boat. So they knocked the dolphin off
Oh, my God.
and they broke one of the, I think it was two dolphins, so one got knocked off, the other one got kind of smashed a little bit. And they broke part of the mast off and they broke some other stuff, so, what are you gonna do? We got clowns and clowns.
Do we not, I know that the camera at the waterfront, it's pretty good, but did we get any luck or has it been
Well,
luck?
I haven't spoken to the police directly, but, through the third person, I was told that the people that broke the window at the bathrooms were identified
Oh,
because of the camera.
gotcha.
But the ones who broke into Dunn, they broke in on the back side, towards the tracks. Oh, you know so much about that.
I see the singer. Ladder.
So no,
Up there to the ground, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because ours look at the city camera and we can see between the club and the bathroom really well. But there is an Amtrak camera facing the back of the Dunn.
Yeah,
Last,
yeah.
Deshaun,
That's a good Mashonda question. I'm done with Amtrak.
well,
After we put that bridge over.
Bridge over.
That's it, man. We got I think we've gotten there all the reimbursement checks for what we overpaid for escrow, for what we didn't expend in their escrow. Let's see, vandalism, Hometown Heroes. Just because I know you guys have a no red, right on red story. DPW has zero opinion on this matter. I'm just stating that for the record. However, you have to put the signs up by the lights. So we don't have this kind of hardware in stock. And we don't have all these signs in stock. So if the determination is made to do new right on red, I've tallied it up. It looks like about 43 signs with hardware. When we bought these in 2020, I want to say, they were like $200-300 each, so if you're talking about, they'd have to, like on Warren Street, you only have, there's no right on red for the one ways,
Yeah.
but you got two traffic lights, so you have to put a no right on red by both of the traffic lights. So you end up doing 4 of them anyway, even though there's one way, so, and the other intersections are closed. So anyway, you guys can figure it out and do the math for yourself. Obviously, 7th Street doesn't apply because there's already signage there for the tracks. And Carroll Street doesn't apply because there are already no right on red or every direction there already. That's it,
So
so.
do you think is it doable to put it on the post stoplights? Like at Fourth?
Well, usually it's alongside of
next to the light.
the light, it's not beneath it. And because it's supposed to like,
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't researched this
my
at
gut
that
said it
level.
wasn't great, but
You know, so yeah, you're gonna need all sorts of hardware to kind of bring this out, so the sign is next to the light.
Conspicuous.
Yeah,
Even in a way, you got two, don't you? On some of them. you
there's
got-
two lights, well, yeah, on fourth, fifth and sixth, or fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
And like, well, seventh is already done with the track, so. Fourth and fifth have four, so you need two for each side. Anyway, that's just giving you the heads up. I'm not an attorney or a law enforcement person, but I've spoken to law enforcement. They said that red on red is default permitted in the state of New York. If you're a municipality less than 1 million or more, which is basically Yonkers, New York City, I guess.
I confirmed it, I looked up.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't talked to an attorney.
So all you have to do is sign, so you don't need a local law or a resolution, I mean, we put the no red on reds on Fourth and Carroll and Fourth and Columbia. There was nothing about that, there was just something from the mayor saying we want signs there, and, you know, we went and bought the hardware and installed, so if that's the plan, you know, there's no money in any account, you know, for this, you know, for all this hardware. So that is just gonna be up to decide whether or not now is a good time or not to spend $13,000-15,000 on signs and hardware. Or whatever, but you guys gotta do your due diligence and find out if it's even necessary, right? And while you're at it, let me see if it's gonna be important.
All right, I'm gonna steal a moment, so I included this page, that I went through a list, it's not all that Rob did, I just went more like, these are kind of the ones that I felt like were worth talking about, and then maybe prioritizing. I know there was another accident at Sixth and Columbia, so I feel like that was like, it might be
Pedestrian related?
No, if somebody ran the red light.
Yeah.
It's not right on red related either.
but there's something about that intersection where people keep having it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Fourth and Columbia, Sixth and Columbia,
Yeah,
Fourth and Warren,
The sightline, the ones with the crappy sightlines.
yeah,
or the ones where people just aren't paying attention.
but I have this list,
Yeah,
confirms the law that Rob said we can't do it citywide.
Gotcha.
So if anyone wants to opine on this list and prioritize them, I sent it to the mayor to do that. I'm just passing it on, making it public.
I'd assume that 250 assigned 5, 6 years later is probably gonna be 300 and change,
yeah, I'm gonna guess, yeah, I mean, that was,
to be fair.
I think we actually ordered them before the lockdown, so.
Yeah.
Cause we installed them in July.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for doing that.
Okay, this question comes up more and more, and I know I've addressed it before. So there are no state roads in the city of Hudson. There are roads in the city of Hudson that have dual designation as a local highway, a local street, and also as a state route. So I have two examples here. So here's our local highway inventory. This is available online from DOT. And it lists Columbia Street, and you can see the state route. It says New York 9G and US 9 over there just next to the DOT ID. So those roads have dual designation. But the reason they are in our local highway inventory is because these roads get added to our center line miles, which is what is used to determine how much CHIPS money we get. CHIPS is this formula. They take X miles times the level. If you've got it paved, you get a higher reimbursement. If it's dirt, you get a lower reimbursement. So that's what they do. So they score all these, and that's what all these little data points are here. And then when the governor decides and the legislature decide how much money they're gonna put in the CHIPS program, they take all of these for the whole state and come out and it spits out how much everybody's gonna get. So, you know, whereas for the village of Philmont, and Main Street is State Route 217, but you'll see there's no Main Street. I penciled it in. I wrote where it should be alphabetically between Lake Drive and Maple Ave. It doesn't exist. That's because DOT owns that road. So people say, well, I don't understand. And I said, well, when's the last time you saw DOT paving a road in the city? When's the last time you saw DOT patching a road in the city? When's the last time you saw DOT working on a traffic light in the city? Never, 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 because they're city streets. They do have a DOT designation. And that's where the twains meet unless they're on the same track.
All right, if you're doing some clarification, I'm gonna add a clarification,
Okay,
because this comes up a lot too.
Yeah.
Is that designated access highway is US 9. Worth Avenue, Upper Warren, Park Place, Green Street is a designated access highway, which means 53-foot trucks are allowed on it forever, infinitum. People don't believe it. Told them if they want to change it, call Josh Riley, because this is
Gotcha.
it's a federal issue. It is you could say it's state, but it starts at the federal.
Can you repeat those streets again? It was green.
Well,
it's the upper end.
truck.
It's the upper truck route, yeah.
It's not the 19
Lower truck
of
route.
Columbia,
Yeah.
it's
No, no, that,
Harry Howard.
It's Worth, Warren Park, Green, Columbia Green.
Gotcha.
We believe that the access highway on the west side of town ends at the warehouse, at the antique warehouse.
L&B, the warehouse.
That would make sense. They had.
Yeah, we already had.
But third in Columbia, we don't believe are access highways. So just since you were doing clarifications on our roads, I thought I'd throw that. in.
We already had a study on that.
And that's why we're saying we can do the police and state trooper, notification and information pullovers on the South Bay before we start this infrastructure project.
Well, so we're discussing with DOT right now, because I wouldn't do that without
Right.
any signage out by Stewart Shop.
Yeah, right.
You can't, that would just wouldn't.
Well, you've got signage on the roads in the city. I mean, DOT puts those signs up, the city doesn't. So you see those truck route signs that are black and white,
Yes.
New York State DOT has installed those, not us.
Oh, that's an interesting piece of information.
So,
So-
yeah, the ones that are on the.
So if you're gonna start enforcing Columbia Street, you may wanna get those signs down that say truck route and on 23B.
Well, that's what we're working and we're struggling a little bit with DOT right now, but we
Yeah.
had communications today about this.
Yeah,
And we would need big signage out by Stewart Shop and the RIP, and we.
send them up to Buckley's Corner.
And then we would install. I can't wait.
Uh,
5 ton.
Local traffic only or something like that.
Local delivery only.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not ready for publication.
Okay, that's broken, that's there. 32 is our bushwhacking over the hill there, once a year, whether it needs it or not. And that's, this is just turning on the water spigot for all the courtesy hydrants that are up at the, new cemetery, the Seed Park Cemetery. Likewise, the dog park's on, the drinking fountain at Promenade Hill is on, the bathrooms are on, down at the waterfront, the, only thing that's not on is the splash pad. I don't even recall if that works anymore.
Rob, how do you guys, kill the brush on the hill with a weed whacker?
Oh, man. Sorry. There's literally a chainsaw blade that goes on a weed whacker.
Mm-hmm,
And so instead of holding like a little one of those little toy chainsaws,
mm-hmm.
they can stand upright and they just cut them right down, cut them half right, lay them right down
You said you do that twice a year?
once a year.
I think same thing they do in Power Avenue, right, the hill?
No, they do that with a regular weed whacker with string and that's mostly grass.
Hmm.
It's all billy goat work though. They don't need the safety harness for that one.
Okay.
Because there's no track. There's no train tracks at the bottom.
One more item before you go, Mr. Snick is here. We made the news today, that there's a new curb cut on Green Street. And, it got repaired, it's now a concrete, sidewalk and the,
Doesn't look amazing, but it's done.
but it's done. And as far as there was no code against them putting a parking lot in their front yard. They did cut down, I think, 2 nice trees, but
Well, the lot next to my house is a buildable lot, and I park my cars in front of it, and if I wanted to build a garage mahal, I could still legally park the cars in front of it, so.
Yep. So just, I don't know if there's any more to comment on it, but it made the news, so just saying that it's all fixed.
The TV news?
No,
No.
it made the vote.
Gossip.
Yeah,
So-
Margaret's got her hand up and then Bill has his hand up.
Okay.
Couple of questions.
Um, So then we're gonna let you go.
How are you doing on completing the painting for the summer? Are you done?
No, we just started.
Yeah, I figured you had a bit to go still.
Yeah.
And do sign deployment generally happen after when we have labor free up? Specifically, wondering if you had gotten to finish the Hot Topic pocketbook curb
They're
paint.
done last
They're
week.
done.
Awesome, great.
That's what-
Yeah,
Man, look at you.
No, because I drove there and
Yeah.
to find out.
I sent him over there, it was on the top of the list.
I thought it was, and I just wanted to make sure there weren't any additional.
No, they have to do their parking spot for the handicap spots.
Yeah,
They know that.
and the signs that we're hoping to put there as well for the no parking or no parking anytime or tow away zone at the end of Partition and North Sixth.
I don't know anything about that.
On the corner of North Sixth and Partition,
Does partition go up that far?
no, am I saying it wrong? What's, yeah,
Union.
It's just
no,
straight,
it's North Sixth. and
Partition stops at Fifth. Partition is on the south side. of the
Prospect,
city.
I'm sorry,
Oh.
Prospect Street, my apologies.
Okay,
At the corner of Prospect and North Sixth, we discussed, at the 2 months ago at the police committee meeting, having a no parking anytime or a tow-away zone there because it was extremely dangerous with the repetitive parking of, it was delivery at first, but now it's patrons and employees parking right up to the curb and there's a zero sight line.
Yeah, come out of Prospect.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that Mashonda and, Captain Miller said, yes, we'll get a sign there. Specifically that corner.
okay.
If it hasn't, that's fine.
They haven't talked to me
I
about it.
think they're painted yellow now. That,
It's yellow.
it's yellow.
I know we went over, I had blasted the whole area with yellow paint.
Awesome.
And before it was yellow, there was a car parked right there.
There's a, fire hydrant across from my office that still needs yellow in front of it too. I know they're still making.
Does anybody park in front of your office?
On the other side, there's a fire hydrant over there.
On Sixth.
Some people do from the pocket factory and stuff.
No, I thought that whole side was no parking.
I don't think so. There are a couple, well, only a few spots there.
Can I call on Margaret or?
I think that was, and there are a couple of street, meters still out on the street, poles. Along the park on North Seventh Street. There are a couple and there are,
I don't know what you're talking about.
parking meter poles. Or parking meter pipes,
Oh, okay,
3-foot pipes.
yeah,
It was just asked to put it back on the list of.
yeah, when they, I'm sure there's,
When we get to it.
I'm sure there's somewhere on the list, yeah. A rainy day.
Gotcha. Cool. That's it for me.
All right, Margaret, would you like to ask a question of Rob or any?
Yeah,
other-
no, I do. I have a comment while Rob is still there and Nick is there. I want to go back to the pocketbook factory lease. Rob, before Nick came on board, when we met at the firehouse, and that, you know, the lease situation, there was a lease ready to be signed, but DPW had not been included and the firehouse had not been included and so forth. And so we had to go back to amending the lease. This is a process question. I spoke with Sean Rowland a couple of weeks ago on, you know, what are the next steps here? They have identified, as you had talked about earlier, a certain area that they are, I think it's 36 parking spaces. They now have to go before the planning board. My question, probably mainly to you, Rob, is do I need to now bring the lease agreement before the council so that we can approve the lease? Because they are not going to want to do any work and spend any monies until the lease is agreed to, or do I need to wait until the planning board approves the site plan before we approve the lease? What is the flow there? I'm sure you recall that conversation at the firehouse.
Yeah, I was a little confused at the conversation then, and I am right now. I mean, you guys have a lease. All that happened was the city hadn't deposited their check while this stuff was still kind of in limbo, but, I mean, I believe you have a lease that's in force. Like I said in the very beginning, the layout that was included was not for design. They still had a review process they have to do with the planning board, so I don't know that anything, I don't believe anything with the lease itself has changed. I think you.
Well, no,
I think-
actually it was because the original lease gave them more spaces and was for a higher dollar amount per year. And so now that they have been reduced to 36 spaces, the dollar amount is going to change. And I do not believe that the council signed off on that lease. So maybe the most efficient thing is for you, me, and Nick to just have a meeting and figure out, okay, what do we need to do here? We still have not cashed that check because the amount is actually going to change because they reduced the number of spaces.
Well, I mean, I don't like to have legal discussions on a public forum necessarily.
No, it's not a legal conversation. It's a
But
process
I
question.
would say the price is the price. Whether you get 50 spots or whether you get 40 spots, you're getting spots and you're getting a solution. I mean, I don't think anywhere in the lease agreement it said you got a per spot lease. They had an annual lease for a lot, for a location close to their facility. If you
Okay.
guys want to lower the price, then that's.
No, we're not lawyers.
Thank
But
you.
I'm just saying that when I was
I
trying
know
to
he's
figure.
asked for that. I know
I'm
he's
just-
asking for that, but that's,
Okay,
that's.
so I think, Rob, I think the best thing would be, since Nick was not on board at Code at the time, would be if the three of us get together to just make sure that we know what the appropriate steps are, because back in December when we met, one of the things that Craig pointed out was that this should have gone to Code, and then Code would have asked for a site plan, and the site plan would have to be approved. So I just want to make sure that we move forward on this, and that whatever the council needs to do to approve the lease, we do in a timely fashion. So I think the most efficient thing is for you, me, and Nick to meet and just make sure we've got it in order. As far as the
Yeah.
money is concerned and the pricing, that's not my concern. My concern is the process.
Yeah, I
And the three of us can just have
Yeah.
we'll just do a conference
I
call.
believe Nick's already started that other process, but we can meet. I'm back next week.
Okay,
I'm
sounds
leaving
good.
tomorrow
All
morning.
right, let's just reconnect next week then. Thank you very
Okay.
much. That's all I had.
You're welcome.
We have another hand?
Yeah,
Is it Bill?
yeah.
Okay, well, one question, Bill? 2
Can you hear
minutes?
me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 questions if I could. Won't take more than 2 minutes. Rob, I'm curious if you're aware of the badly cracked sidewalks on both sides of the Ferry Street Bridge that appeared, well, to me, they appeared a couple of months after the bridge was opened. And I've noticed them worsening, especially on the north side, the sidewalk on the north side of the bridge. I'm wondering if you're aware of it.
No,
But you did an inspection, didn't you?
the engineers did the inspections.
You took some pictures. So now that you're aware of it, will you go take a look at it and make sure that it's not going to fall apart prematurely on us and that we'll have to pay to repair it?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe
Next
next year,
question?
next month, you'll get back to us? And I'm
I'll put
also
it on
wondering
the
about
bill.
the steps. I'm also wondering about the steps to Promenade Park, which are full of stains again, that you said a year ago, last February, you had averted a crisis when you figured out what the problem was. But the problem has recurred, Rob. So
We cleaned it
no
last year, we'll
crisis
clean
was
it this year.
averted. Is there a reason that the stains keep coming back?
I believe it's just the mortar coming from it, but we cleaned it last year, we just cleaned it again this year.
So you're satisfied with the job that Colarusso did, even though the grout or whatever you're calling it is failing?
I don't know that that's failing, it's just.
Did you expect the stains to show up on the stairs, Rob?
Well, I expect to have to maintain the stairs.
Did you expect
so-
the
Bill,
stains?
it's not a
Rob?
back
and forth.
Did you expect the
We're-
stains, Rob?
Thank you, Bill, for
Bill, you're asked two questions.
Of course.
aware of this, and if later on, after we cover some more issues, you want to ask another question on a different topic, we'll return. Roni, you have any questions? You all good?
No, I actually just wanted to say, I did actually, once Bill sent that
concern about the cracked sidewalks. It's like hairline, cracks. It's not like, cracked with gaps. Bill or Rob, if that makes a difference, but I will say there are some, you can see it, especially when it's like rained, it's drying, you can see the cracks.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
We have one in the room here.
Yeah,
Keep it
with the,
similar.
street sweeper coming back online, what do you think, you're gonna be doing Columbia? The street sweeping?
Well, Columbia, we do the one side, almost every night.
Yeah, but the other one with the.
Yeah, the other one is problematic, 'cause we have to actually put out no parking signs a couple days in advance. But yeah, we usually do that in the spring because it's got all the schmutz there from the
Well,
winter.
that could be soon,
That could be soon, yeah, you're not parked there again, are you?
not planning on
Okay,
it.
That thing moves.
Just curious.
that's the time to move to the parking lot from Brookline Street.
Because it's getting to the point where we're gonna be moving those vans, so.
All right, can we
It's been a.
keep this meeting trucking? Nick, and,
Thank you, Rob.
You got it.
thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Nice to have you, and
glad I could be so helpful.
to be efficient, we're just gonna jump right to you, and, you have places to be, we can cover the rest after, but. What do you have things you wanna talk about?
I didn't know I was supposed to, no?
No, it's fine, we're first time here, we've got some ideas and some,
Yeah, I'll, just take any concerns, questions, anything that I
if there's
can.
anything you've been hearing
Yeah,
recently.
I wasn't prepared to unload on you guys.
That's perfect, because
Yeah.
we don't necessarily know what is gonna fit you best and what is gonna work for your schedule. So Rob brought this up just before the meeting started, that you are, since you are one of our chief safety officers, fire, police, and you. And in my past experience, code has never come to a committee or was ever asked to come to a committee other than historical preservation. So maybe it's not, we don't really know where the best fit is yet, or maybe it is a fluctuating fit between safety and DPW, depending on your availability and what issues we have at hand. But since he brought this up at the beginning, I thought, well, actually, maybe that might be better to have, Chief Hoffman, Bashanda, and yourself in the room at one time to tackle those potential safety issues or to talk to each other in a faster pace, since we'll be in the same room. Well, that was where I was gonna ask what maybe it's a little too early.
I have two thoughts, because you have two jobs. You're the building inspector and the code enforcement officer, right? I mean, I don't say they're two jobs, it's code enforcement,
No, it's, yeah,
but they're different, right?
uh-huh,
So I like to think that we're also your conduit to making things better. If you see things that are challenging you,
mhm,
things that about the building inspection process or whatever that you need the common council to address or would like to talk about,
mhm,
I would think this would be a forum for you to do that. I think the push for today was a lot to do with Bachwood Factory.
yeah,
And that's why it was discussed to go to the safety meeting, and as Henry said, to have everyone in the same room, to address them. And I think mostly we're talking about noise.
yeah,
I guess, I don't know, parking wouldn't necessarily fit, but the noise concern, and I don't know if it's something we should go into or, but
well, I
it's
can-
floating out there.
I have been taking some readings around town to see how they compare. I'm still working on getting that stuff, but when it's finalized, I could give you guys a report as to my findings on it.
Yeah. Okay,
Great.
Parking, again, it's not my,
no, I don't think so.
yeah, it's not my department, but I do notice a difference in parking, especially at night. It's hard to find a parking spot in that area.
I think I communicated once on one pet issue that's been popping around in my head. It's about fire safety. And we've had a number of fire incidents over the past few years here in Hudson. And, I'm interested in whatever we can do between yourself and the fire department about getting more and more smoke detectors tested and make sure they're on every floor and outside every bedroom and
Mhm.
per code, basically.
Yeah, well, we do that now for, commercial buildings and, multifamily buildings and stuff like that.
When you say you do them, do you do it more often than just on building permits, or when do you do them?
Every year.
There's different stipulations for different type of occupancy and stuff like that. Some are annually, some are every few years and so on.
Okay,
But we do have a building safety, officer in the department that his sole job is to go around and do fire safety inspections.
okay.
On
If
that
it-
note,
if you
Jason,
think
can I
about-
add something?
Oh, yeah, please, go ahead.
So, I guess maybe larger cities, but like certain cities, they have what's like a residential occupancy permit for, especially for really for rental units. And that's usually a checks and balances kind of situation. It's like a check-in. It's like, for example, Albany has it for every 2 years you have to renew it, and it's only like $30, and that's like a checkpoint for apartments to get inspected by code enforcement, and they have to have a occupancy permit in order to rent it out legally. Does people do it without it? It's just another way for the city to check it, especially for example, what's it called? When you want to get rid of a tenant, the first thing the judge will ask is, do you have a permit? So that's another way of like enforcing, for example, do you have enough smoke detectors? At the same time, there's other safety risks that code could be checking. That would be in addition to a building permit. Would be something that's, whether it's every 2 years or every 5 years, is that something Nick might be, or Nick in his office might be able to take on, or is that something that we could be looking into? Just question and proposal, I guess.
Well, we do have, building registrations that happen, every so often. I'm not sure exactly what the timeline is on it right now. I suppose it could be something to be considered in the future, that we do a walkthrough of the buildings that aren't on our fire safety inspections, to just, like you said, make sure that they have working smoke detectors and
Right,
property.
and it's an ad hoc, meaning like the property owner is essentially requesting it by requesting the residential. So it's not on you guys to like show up randomly, whoever has these. They would renew it, they would pay for whatever the fee may be, and they would have a residential occupancy. And because of that, you would inspect it for whatever the code is for, housing unit.
Mm-hmm. And you think that should be a mandatory inspection? In your opinion?
We can't,
To be a
don't nod your head, say it out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
I think it should be mandatory for people that are renting out properties. I think it's a good way for the city to ensure that landlords are being good to their tenants.
Don't we already
And-
kind of have, like, all that you mentioned commercial?
Yes, yeah,
Everything but a single family is a mandatory, oh wait, no, it's.
single family and double family, yeah, anything with 3 units or more, gets an inspection like that,
And all commercial.
yes.
I guess the one specific incident on my mind is the Wonder Bar. What happened there with alarms. I mean, I know it's I have no idea exactly what happened, but could it have been prevented with better alarming?
I think that worked.
Did it?
But I know saved.
The buildings are still there too,
Yeah,
right,
everyone
so,
got out safely.
that was before my tenure, so.
Anyway, if it comes to your mind, just know we're interested, get
Mhm.
ideas. You talk to fire and
Right,
because sometimes it takes a code change, us to do work on a code change or budgets or things.
Mhm.
We can help with that. Okay. Two things about signs, by coincidence, on my way here. It looks like a truck hit the sign at Green Street Deli today. And the reason I bring it up is it looks like it's tilting. And it could be dangerous.
It's a bright one.
Yeah.
at the Green Street now?
Yeah, the
The one
really flashy over bright.
I visited recently. But,
Oh,
The one that's not.
it's tilted.
okay,
And then other,
maybe we pissed off neighbor,
it looked like I got hit high.
yeah.
So it had been a box truck or something.
Yeah, they.
New sign on Third Street? Is it on the youth department or next door? Like, it's like a cable. Cause there was a whole hullabaloo about the lighted sign in the historic district across the street. But there's a new sign that's like.
Oh, the one that's in Hudson Cable.
We'd have to,
That.
yeah,
sign
we'd have
has
to
been
cover, yeah,
for
that's been for a
while.
while.
What's it changed about it? Because it's
It is
moving or flashing.
excessively brighter. They have changed it.
Changed it to
It's
LED.
a LED, that's why.
They might, that is not allowable.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't know anything about this.
Perfect. We'll have, and before you got here.
Because the neighbor across the street went through
Yeah.
all kinds of
There are
things.
3 of those in town that snuck through that were not approved. There's that one. There's the one at Taija on the 100 block of Warren Street. That is an illuminated. Yes. And, that one snuck through HPC. They were denied and then put it up anyhow. But that was right before Craig left. So.
But
But then HPC agreed to it. They did. Check it out.
I will, because it is
But
against.
No, I hear.
Now, there's, I don't know that there's a code developed as to how bright these things can be.
there is,
With the lumens are there?
well, not lumens, but there's about 6 codes. I've looked into it. Brightness of, because it's distracted driving.
Mm-hmm,
It's not a lumens, it's a judgment call. But, Green Street Deli's been keeping theirs dimmer. But the flashing is a concern.
Mhm.
That's specifically in the code.
mm-hmm.
The closeness to corners,
But you said there's nothing on brightness itself?
it just says just bright enough to be a distraction,
Mm-hmm,
which at times they are.
yeah,
When they keep it dim, it's not.
but it might be something that we have to actually have a level for.
Yes, that would be a good point.
Mhm.
Set up brightness.
Right, cause we kind of went through this at HPC the other day, we had somebody, applied for a illuminated sign. And it was just a dimly lighted sign, but nobody, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that's to, I guess, my discretion to decide if it's dimly lit or not, but there should be an actual,
It's similar to, we have a decibel level in our decibel meter.
That would
It's
be the
very
best way to go about it.
precise, anything that is.
yeah.
Because they have, lumens are measured in candle power, so it's pretty easy to
Yeah,
measure that.
there's meters.
Hmm.
But I'm concerned about the Green Street Valley one being unsafe right now.
okay, and there's the other one that's unsafe,
Just
that
for today.
that reminds me of, I went to the liquor store across the street from the Green Street Deli the other day, cause they have that sign that's
Oh, yeah.
over in the parking lot
Yeah.
there, but I gotta find out who the owner is to get ahold of him, to get that out of there. Just to pull it out myself.
So those are some thoughts on my mind.
Is that,
Code enforcement.
They went to jail.
okay, well, maybe we'll just pull UPW and have them pick it up.
I'm sure that wouldn't be missed.
No. The one on the card
Yeah,
by the street, yeah.
yeah, that's waiting.
Anything online?
You know,
Yeah, you got Margaret and then you got Bill.
Yep.
Okay.
So, if I could speak for a moment.
Hey, Jenny, Margaret, Jenny's been waiting patiently. We missed her behind Dewan's head.
Hi, Margaret. I don't know if there is, I read the code for the decibel amount that becomes illegal, and I know that
Mhm.
code enforcement and, the police are the only people that can enforce,
Mhm.
that particular, code. Is there does it say anything about the length of time a certain sound goes on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
210, I'll read it to you. if you want.
Okay, I couldn't remember, because it may be a sound that continues for a long time and drives me crazy.
right, I think dogs barking over 15 minutes.
Okay,
Is that what you mean?
no, I'm thinking specifically about the pocketbook factory again, because, I know that the sounds that they're dealing with go on for hours and hours and hours and hours. And as someone who used to live above a club,
Mhm.
I understand how bad that can make you feel, like it can make you
Yeah,
crazy.
and again, I don't know if you had heard me before, I have been going around
Yeah,
town
I did.
and taking decibel readings, and
Yeah.
that also includes while they're having parties at
Okay,
the, Pocketbook Factory.
okay,
too.
great, good. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
I did some research into other cities and what they're doing about sound, and there is such a thing as droning sounds,
Okay,
and usually it refers to HVAC.
right,
And, so I've gathered a couple of other areas, and New York City has the most stringent one. And so we could consider changing the code, but currently I don't think our code addresses that.
yeah, okay. I was just curious.
Would you agree it doesn't address it well?
No.
But we could,
Yeah.
as a council, do
I
something.
think that's important to do. I mean, considering how many people are being affected by that.
It does not have a time, but it does do a general. For example, it's a reproduction devices, which I'm gonna say is.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, that's a person shall, no person or operator cause to be operated or use any sound reproduction device in such a manner as to create an unreasonable noise. Of course,
That
arbitrary,
is, yeah,
very arbitrary, but to our benefit, as it is the interpretation of
right,
the code enforcement office, assumedly, that could make that determination. It is basically repeating that a few times, no person shall operate, reproductive device in any bus operated by a city, so no person in a reproductive device or commercial business for advertising purposes or attaining attention to any performance, show or sale of display of merchandise in connection, so it deals generally with trying to attract a customer, let's say,
right.
but it's relatively vague. Once you read it, it's gonna make a lot of sense.
I have read it, I just couldn't remember, and,
There's no time, for that droning. But it does, they are in a commercial district, so their level is allowed to be 65.
they are in a neighborhood.
They are, but it is unfortunately zoned, a commercial.
I don't think the zoning.
It's zoned commercial in the center of everything zoned residential, non-mixed.
yeah, they kind of have a little bump out that goes around them.
And this is going back to.
However,
when it was an-
I have been taking readings from the commercial district that they're in and how it's affecting your residential district as well.
Okay.
Because it also says that the readings, the measurements have to be taken from the area of complaint.
Okay,
So it can't just be
right,
sitting right in
Yeah.
my office, which is on the other side of it, but
right.
where the actual complaints are coming.
So like Neil's backyard, for example, is at a standing level of, I think it's 2 decibels above and right at 55, which is the allowable in a residential backyard, which is, it's on the next page. Whatever that level,
At day or night?
both.
At night, it's 45 decibels, and during the day, it's 55 decibels.
So for him, he has 55 during the day sustained,
Mhm.
and at night, it doesn't drop.
Right,
And
so that's.
it also can be 5 decibels above the ambient noise levels, which is why I've been going around and taking those ambient noise readings. So we have something to compare it to, because if, for example, I'm saying a random number, if I'm getting 40 decibels around the rest of that neighborhood.
Yeah,
And we're at 45 in your particular neighborhood, then they would be violating that ordinance.
okay, great.
So
Great.
it's being worked on.
If that's going on.
It does have some, the language in it is pretty clear on what happens to someone when they get in trouble for it.
Uh-huh,
It immediately goes to a fine and up to 15 days in jail. There's no wiggle room after like the first offense. It's the repetitive. I don't think we've ever really enforced this. The city's probably never done that.
The police probably have, I'd imagine.
Hopefully. But it's just, protecting the quality of life, and hopefully having that language enforced doesn't need to be pushed any farther.
Okay, Margaret, are you still looking to ask a question? Sorry, thank you for waiting.
Yeah, so first of all, Nick, I want to thank you so much for coming this evening. And we'll figure out whether the appropriate forum is this meeting or whether it's the safety meeting. But I really, really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. My main concern about having you attend is so that, you know, as council members, we obviously have no enforcement authority, but we get questions and issues from constituents on a regular basis. And part of what we do is help constituents navigate the system, navigate City Hall. And, you know, about 10 days ago, I sent out an email to everybody, I included you on it, where I had to go back and research what was the actual certificate of occupation and I don't want to talk specifically about Pocketbook Factory, but I had to go back and get the facts, get that information out to the council members in the 4th and 5th wards, which is where that's the constituents who are within the wards of the Pocketbook. And so it's incredibly helpful to us to have you there to give us the actual facts. You know, so that when an issue comes up, we can say, hey, we're getting this complaint we have an issue with this resident, that resident, whatever, so that we can get the real data on what is appropriate, what's not appropriate. There is one thing that has been not addressed for quite some time, I think, in Hudson, which is vacancy. We can take that up at another time. We have a number of properties that are vacant, and I'm not sure that notices have been sent out to owners of vacant properties. We do have it in our code that you have to pay a certain penalty for every year that a house is vacant and so forth. And so we can take that up at another time. But I think having you able to come and brief us on what's going on and give us the perspective from code on what is appropriate, what is not appropriate, so that we can surface to you, hear the things we're hearing from residents, and then you can address them, is incredibly helpful. Excuse me, very, very, very helpful. And again, I just want to really thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, but you don't have to thank me. Coming here has been helpful to get some insight on how other things are working in the city with DPW and whatnot. In terms of the vacancies, that is something that I do have my eye on, and I plan to be diligent with. So that is definitely something that we can work on.
Yeah. And if there's stuff that what the council can do where needed is modify code, update things, as we respond to resident concerns and so forth, we can work with you to make the code clearer and unambiguous and enforceable. And so again, I just want to thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill, thank you for your concise questions last time. Would you like to ask another of Nick or anyone else here?
Yeah, I was hoping to talk about vacant buildings, actually, so I'll cut it short since Margaret's brought it up. And I do hope that this issue is more and more a part of these meetings. It seems to have fallen by the wayside completely. I just want to let you know what I'm surrounded by here at 558 State Street. 614 State is a Galvin property. There's a house in the alley. There's a house in the front. Galvin bought it, 8, 9, 10, 12 years ago. And nobody's lived in it since then. They put a fence around it recently because somebody had been breaking in to the house and sleeping in it, a homeless person. And then we're sleeping on the porch. Now there's a fence around it. We don't need this in our neighborhood. This is not something anybody wants to live across from, near, walk by, anything. It's a disgrace. And it seems to me that nothing, absolutely nothing is being done about that building. On the other side of 558 to the west is 538 State Street. It's one of the larger properties in this neighborhood, certainly on this block. Big yard, big house, big garage in the back. Last week, finally, after 7 months, a mattress was finally removed from behind the garage along the alley. It's a vacant property. It is, in my estimation, more than a vacant property. It's abandoned. They never sweep the snow off shovel the snow off the sidewalk. I am constantly calling code enforcement to remind them that the grass has not been cut. The house is a disgrace. We don't need it in the neighborhood. The owner of this property needs to be paying an annual or a monthly fee or something so that they eventually decide to sell the house and somebody buys it and somebody lives in it. I mean, this is the idea behind the vacant building registry. I want to give you just one more vacant building, if I could. The former church at 6th and Rope Alley. Hasn't had a service center for 4 or 5 years after there was a fire in the attic that I basically foretold about a week before it happened. I warned code enforcement that there were people living in the attic, and sure enough, there was a fire, and it's been closed down and vacant since. They haven't had a service there. There's 4 abandoned vehicles in the back. There's an active dumpster behind a vacant building that is emptied every week by a garbage company, and it's overflowing. This is a huge problem that is being.
Bill, we're gonna have to stop.
Thank you for bringing these to my attention. I just wanted to make sure here, I've got 614 State, 538 State, and 6th and Rope Alley Church, correct? Yes. All right, Bill.
Yeah,
Thank you
64
for bringing
North
my
6th.
attention. None of us want these vacant buildings just sitting around and rotting. So thank you for bringing it to my attention, and I will look into it and take action if I can.
Okay, and even the council president is into this issue, so thank you. Anyone else online? Okay, Nick, thank you. Just got a couple things to discuss with the people here. You're welcome to stay, but
I'll hang out for a little bit.
yeah, just,
Thank you, though, giving me the option.
yeah, well, everyone, I just want to point out to people online that Dewan had a meeting at 7 he had to get to, so. Just update that the Hudson Valley River Greenway grant that we applied for, we should hear by June 1st. We may even hear the last week of this month. That is to do some studying of one-way streets at 7th and Park Place around the public square, and to also do some engineering design at the intersection that is the triangle of death near the hospital. I'm just calling it that because that's what I've heard others call it. Along the lines, Labella, who we're working with, has created a brief survey to get the priorities of the community. I have a link here that is going to be posted on Hudson Hub tomorrow. I will send that link at least to Carol, I think is online. I'll send that later tonight. And try to get it out. Otherwise, I did not, I'll put this document also in the agenda in the folder online tomorrow. I didn't get it out before the meeting. We talked about no turn on red earlier. It's just clear that we need signage if we're going to do it. We can't do it citywide. I'll include the list of intersections for the discussion. And then the next meeting I have to miss, it's end of school year. My son is graduating high school. There's a conflict and Henry has agreed on, maybe it's June 8th.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Lead that meeting. Thank you. And graduate of Hudson High School. Any other general comments? Anyone online that wants general comment for this committee?
Congratulations on your son graduating high school.
Thank you. We're very happy.
Congratulations.
Henry, would you like to make a motion?
I actually have one more addition.
Okay.
Because signs have been in front of me in this book, and I think everybody might have noticed how many, and not to make your day any busier coming up, how many signs we have posted, on street lamps and street poles, that are coming, like the two guys, two movers, two brothers moving, and, cars for cash.
Okay,
Those are in fact illegal and, against code, and we can fine them, appropriately. So they
call
don't,
the number, see if we can get them to come through. take
that
them all
would be
down.
so much easier.
Yeah,
And I did find the one in here that says, flashing or interfering signs prohibited, no illuminated sign shall be of the flasher type. So
Yeah.
any illuminated sign that changes a marquee, not allowed.
Yeah, they're more, the code actually reads more like a, have a light shining on the sign rather than an internally illuminated sign.
It was, that.
yeah, I see them. Thank you for bringing that one.
It is,
Flasher and.
and that being said, I do make them.
Ronnie, if you second that, we're
Second the
going to
motion.
adjourn. All right, we're going to adjourn. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good night.